Right. So we're gonna look at invasions, right? Look at invasions, right? Give you my impressions because I have finished it. Apart from Shang Tsung's laboratory in the Living Forest, I've, as far as like getting like the remainder of the areas done, because now I've got like Scorpion's testicle rock or whatever it is to unlock those specific areas that you can't access until you beat Scorpion. I just want to give you my impressions on invasions and what I think they could maybe or may not improve upon for this game. Straight out of the gate, it's boring. Like, it's 100% boring, right? If the first time I died was this fight here in the Living Forest. It's the first time I ever died, right? And it was against Johnny Cage. And, you know, it was just, it was the first time. Not only was it the first time they actually died, it was actually the first time their little puzzle things, you know, actually was threatening. It actually killed me. It wasn't that Johnny Cage himself killed me. It was the stupid jumping, you know, or avoiding survive minigame that they have. So essentially, invasions, what it is, they've taken everything that was in the crypts, previous crypts, Towers of Time, and they've crammed it all into this one particular mode. The problem with this particular mode, though, is that it is just 100% just boring. Like it's like 100% boring, right? Because all you do in this game is run from one node to the next. And don't get me wrong, like, the environments are beautiful and that's great, but outside of that, it's boring. Like, you're just going from one node to the next. Mostly they're fights. Sometimes you'll get like modifiers, things like that, right? But outside of that, it's just crap. It just is. Now, I'll move it up there just so you guys can see, because obviously, like, you've got these things here that you can activate before you go into a match. So you can press at least X on the Xbox controller. You can activate some of these things or whatnot, and they'll help. Pro tip, I actually learnt this from my son. If you got the opportunity to buy a key, right? So one of these keys, buy a key, right? Because you will come across a chest at some point in this map, and every other map. And so every time you go to a new map, buy a key, because you'll need it for the chest, right? But ultimately, this is all you do. You just run around from node to node. It tells you who you're going to fight at the top right, okay? And by and large, it is a mostly useless game mode. Now, when rumors first came out about, you know, this particular sort of like offline-esque mode, kind of like the crypt, or replacing the crypt, I thought it might have been like taking what they did in MK11, which was actually a really cool concept for the crypt, not making it a loot box, but essentially taking all of these zones that we have seen through this area right now. So when you look at the Mesa, you could have had the Living Forest, you could have had, you know, Shang Tsung's laboratory, and all these places, right? And you're running around, and instead of like this sort of like board game point-to-point thing, you just come across things organically. You know, be there at a certain time of day and something might pop up, just like in Deception's Conquest. No, this is boring as hell. Now let's sort of get into this first and foremost, right? Now, from a storytelling perspective, I don't mind it so much. The problem is, though, is that you've got to play through, right? Just going back out, I'll show you. You've got to play through. When you first start, you go through Johnny Cage's mansion, and then you go through all of these different areas round the outside until you get to the final area, which is the actual season story part. I don't know if they're going to make it so that you've got to play through all this crap again just to get to the last season, because if you do, it is just mind-numbingly boring. Like sincerely, okay, I'd much rather crush my testicles under the toilet lid than have to do all of that again, because none of it is engaging. at all. Everything, like the survive things, they're boring. They're just crap. Like they're not threatening, except for the one that I told you about. You know, when you go into the stats, so good idea. Don't have it auto assign your stats. Okay, do it manually and dump all your attack points. Sorry, all your points in attack. You don't need anything else. If you're fairly average at fighting games, you're gonna destroy this game mode. Just dump all your points in attack and off you go. It doesn't matter what character you choose. It doesn't matter what talisman you choose. Just take whatever. Like, it doesn't, none of it matters, man. Like, none of it actually matters. Right? You know, you got an inventory of things you picked up. Ooh, you know, like, this is all cool and stuff. Ooh, none of it matters. It's all crap. None of it matters, dude. None of it. The only good thing about invasions right now is the fact that you can level up in a couple of spots by getting like flawless victories and a brutality, and you can actually level up both your main character and whatever character you've selected. So if you go, okay, well, I want to level up Scorpion, and I'll level up Scorpion as a cameo. You have them selected, you do this particular spot, and off you go. Good as gold, bro, right? But it is 100% like just boring. Just boring. Like, none of it is challenging, right? If you guys remember back to MK9, when we had the 300 level tower, that was incredible, right? Because you actually felt like, wow, I've got to actually, like, you know, I want to get to the top. I want that prize. I want that Melina skin, right? And you knew that the only way to get there was going up it. And there was some stuff in there that was just like psychotically, absolutely psychotically crazy bad in a good way, right? But you come across crap like this, like where you get random encounters, or you get a secret fight, and you go, ooh, and it's like, no, there's no ooh, it's just boring, because it's just some random NPC that you may or may not get a possible color palette skin from, or maybe a skin or a gear piece, or just some stupid talisman or some coin. You know, it is just like, look, I'm fighting the terrible lizard, right? Like, wow, like that's amazing. You know, I can't wait. I've been, you know, I cannot get over this encounter. Like, I'm just gonna tell everyone that this is this most wonderful. Yeah. Oh, what was that? Oh, it's over. Oh, okay. It's boring. Oh, look, I actually got something. There we go. Thank you for making the video look okay, right? Now, speaking of unlocks. So, you've got a few different levels of unlock here, alright? You've got, get rid of that one. There's so many talismans, man. Never use them all, right? So you've got your account level that levels up, right? Which allows you to get access to, for example, you know, like the what do you call it? The stages, the different variations of the stages. So you can see there I'm 87. Again, that's very easy to level up using the method I talked about. You know, so invasions, pretty much the only good thing about invasions is just using it to grind up characters. That's it. Like, it's just it, man. Like, there's nothing, like, there's nothing else like that it's good for. And your count level goes up, so you get access to the stages. You've then got your main character level that goes up, so you can get to level 35 for mastery for each, and then you got level 15, which is mastery for each cameo, right? Now, I unlocked all of my cameos by not playing invasions. I unlocked all my cameos by playing online, because I was leveling up. My account level was leveling up, so I was able to unlock everything, right? Which was pretty cool. Right, so there was a couple of paths there in order to, you know, to do that, which I thought was really groovy, and I appreciate that. As far as like grinding coin and stuff goes, like, you know, like again, if you're doing the grinding thing to level up your characters, you make a lot of coin, whether it be coins for the shrine, whether it be the seasonal coins, right? So the grinding aspect isn't too bad, especially if you're on PC. Have a second screen, have some stuff playing while you're doing it. If you're on console, maybe have a tablet out or something else and just watch stuff. Watch some anime, movie, whatever, while you're doing it. It's mind-numbing. Like, it's not hard at all, right? But as far as like grinding and unlocking stuff go, it's not a bad thing. Your maximum level, of course, is level 30 for invasions. I think all of this stuff gets reset anyway. So any seasonal coins that you have, go spend them in the store. Don't hang on to them. There's no point hoarding them because they've already officially come out and said that. Oh, here we go. This is one of them special fights. One of those special fights. Otherwise, like this entire game mode is just boring as hell. Right? I appreciate what they're trying to do, and now that I've played through it, you know, I do worry about the future. Like what's going to happen? Are we going to have, you know, is it going to be, you know, is it going to be, what do you call it? You know, we got to go through all the maces again just to get to the last part, right? Because that's going to be crap. It's boring. It's not engaging gameplay whatsoever, right? Not even a little bit. So you go through all this stuff, you get these secret fights, you get, you know, random encounters like ambushes and stuff. They're all crap. They're all boring, right? The levels don't mean anything apart from actually leveling up your character or your cameo mastery or your account. That's the only benefit for doing that. It's actually more engaging doing the grind to do that stuff, right? All the talismans are crap. You know, all the consumables are crap. You literally just, the only thing that you need to worry about is dumping all your points in attack and just go through it, right? I had to force myself to play through this because it is dull as dishwater. It's not exciting. Like, at all. Okay? The good thing is, though, is that you can choose any character. That's fine. Like, that's good. You can choose any fighter. That's cool. But outside of that, my God, man. Like, it's just a throwaway mode. There is no incentive to go back in there because the seasons run for what? Almost a couple of months, give or take, right? So you punch this stuff out. Like, people punch this stuff out 2 days after early access, right? 2 days. 2 days after early access. That's hilarious. They got everything. So, you know, there's not much content there. You know, in terms of, like, you know, content that makes you struggle. Again, go back to MK9's 300 level tower. Dude, there were guides. There were people asking online, how do we do this? How do we do that? The only thing that was difficult in this game was the fact that there were parts in the invasions area which actually had, what do you call it? It actually had, like, clues. You just Google it. And you go, oh, okay, I've got to equip this character or this cameo or do this fatality or duck 10 times or, you know, change stance 50 times or some stupid thing like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, none of this stuff is engaging. They are just so creatively bankrupt, right? And the weird part is that these areas, right, these mesa areas are actually beautifully designed, including the gateway portal, right? The gateway portal is one of those interesting ones actually because you got daily, weekly and stuff towers. I think they have modifiers on them. You got hourly towers as well. You can sit here. You can run out. You know, so you come back to the center, and then you can swap from daily towers or hourly towers or whatever to weekly towers, and then they'll have, you know, and there's an achievement there. I think you've got to like earn like 5 million or something like that points when you do these particular towers. But again, it's just like, you know, yeah, they're like the towers time stuff. They got modifiers and stuff like that. but it's just throwaway content. You know what I mean? Like, it's just randomized stuff that at the end of the day, it's like, like, you know, whatever, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know, it's not terribly engaging. Now, I've already, like, I haven't done a spoiler review of the story yet because I wanted to actually have the chapters open so I can sort of click on each one and, you know, talk about it a little bit, right? But it's, you know, like, it's just, when they say offline content, it's very unfortunate that in this particular style, they could have easily just dropped the camera down behind the character and given us the chance to simply just, you know, run around in these massive areas free will, you know, and have stuff unlock, have stuff appear at certain times of day, you know, stuff like that. Now, you do have two things that I haven't talked about just yet. You obviously got the shop where you can sell stuff that you've already picked up, and of course buy keys if you need to buy the keys. You can also respec, so if you have done automatic points, you can come in here, you can buy the white Enera core, and that refunds all your stat points, and then you can go in and manually put the stat points in, which is what I highly recommend doing, because there's literally there's just no other point. Just, you know, just stick it all in attack, bro. That's all you need, because you're going to kill people really fast, and that'll burn you through this content, you know, a lot faster. But ultimately, like, all of this talisman stuff that you pick up, it's just all crap. It's just nothing. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's like given. I know somebody made a comment. I'm always referencing women. Here's another reference to a woman for you. Imagine getting the hottest chick in the world, but she's in a coma. Right? This is what Invasions is. Sure, it's got a pulse and it's warm, but it's not very engaging, bro. There's no conversation. There's no sort of like feedback. There's nothing. And look at the top. The Season of the Spectre has 40 days left. That's what, a month and a half, give or take? Right? Month and a half, dude. I've knocked this out. There's nothing left. Except for if I want to bugger around, right? You've also got the forge that you can go to as well, which is upgrading in talismans as well. I'll show you that quickly, I suppose. Just so you can see, there's good old Bob. So you can recharge your talisman. So if it's run out, you can like fully recharge it. Look at the amount of coins I've got down the bottom. 90,000 of those things, right? And then of course you can upgrade a talisman too. So if you've got components, you can add them. You know, it's very cheap to upgrade them and stuff like that. But like the RPG element side of this isn't strong enough to make you go, oh, I wonder if this is going to work against this character. Because, you know, like, I'm really... Shut up! The game, just stick it all in attack power. And just tank invasions, man. You can literally just tank invasions. Just with attack power. Right? Now, I appreciate... Don't get me wrong. Let's check out the store, because I want to show you where you spend the coin that you earn. I appreciate the storytelling aspect, right? But the problem is, though, it's going to be, what, a couple of months? Give or take, right? Give or take. A couple of months that we're going to be stuck with this. We're all going to knock it out, even if they drop new maces in there, or maces, whatever. Maces. You know, it's going to be so easy, okay? It's going to be so easy to just knock them all out, get the stuff, and off you go. Now, granted, grinding up coin, things like that, whether it be for shrines or whatever, isn't too bad. I'll give it that. It's not bad at all. I don't feel that to be an issue, particularly too if you do the grinding method I just mentioned. You can sit there, yeah, it's brainless, but you know, like you'll get through it easily, man. Now, as you saw my video, I calculated that it will take about 150,000 of these seasonal coins, give or take, to get everything in the shop. Now, since I have some of this stuff already, then yeah, you could easily, given the time frame too, and that could be the reason why, given the time frame, you could absolutely buy literally everything. Everything. There was a couple of things. I think I got one thing for Shangers. I think Claws of the Tiger unlocked somewhere. I can't remember if it was story or whatever. I think there was another piece. I think there was one for Sindel. The Tamer of the Shogun, I think, got unlocked somewhere else as well. And I just haven't gone and bought everything yet because I'm probably about, I don't know, 20,000 give or take short. But that's really easy to grind up. Like really, really, really easy to grind up, right? My only gripe would be simply that, you know, the amount of actual XP that you do get for your character masteries could be increased quite a bit, right? Like, it's a bit of a grind. I know there's a dude on Twitter, he's knocking out this stuff in a few hours, and that seems pretty good. I haven't tried his particular area. There's a part in the Takatan colony that he's grinding up. I've been in Fengjian village doing mine. But, like, this all looks good, don't get me wrong. But by God, I wish we could just jump into the living forest, because you also get the corrupted forest as well. And we could just run around on the ground and just run around and explore stuff and come across roving, you know, bad guys and just pummel the crap out of them as our character. You know what I mean? Like, you know, sort of like what they had with the conquest mode in MK Armageddon, right? You know, we can literally have our 3D character and then just make it so that they just have some of their attacks. You know, you press forward and just one of the attack buttons does one of their special moves. Like, you know, or then they could just punch and kick. Like, it doesn't have to be too deep. But then at least we could have had this massive areas that we could have fully explored. Go up inside the villages, like in the houses and stuff. Or maybe over here with the fire temple. And, you know, there could have been so much exploration and things that were tied to game time, you know, what time of day it was and what week and all that sort of stuff. They literally had the blueprint, man, with MK Conquest and Deception, right? But as it stands now, it's very easy to knock this mode out, but at the same time, it's also extremely boring because there's no challenge. Maybe for a newbie, but outside of that, no. This thing's boring as hell, man. Right? So you take the story mode done. You take invasions done. What's left? You could go to the gateway portal. You could sit around and grind up these towers and stuff, work towards the achievement, which is not hard. Like, the achievements in this game are actually pretty reasonable to get. They're actually quite reasonable to get. But, you know, like, it's just... You know what I mean? It's just... Either they got a whole bunch of stuff planned that they haven't told us about and they're going to put it in there and really give us like some extra meat on the bones. Because right now, this thing is anorexic as hell. Right? And it's a shame though, because I do appreciate what they're trying to do. You know, it's very easy to create the maces, it's very easy to create these areas. But after running around all of them, experiencing all of them, finishing invasions, and going, okay, what's the roadmap here? Do we have to go, do we get all new maces again? And that's fine, but is it going to be more engaging? Probably not. I don't think they're going to make it hard because they want people to either pace it at their own time or newbies come in and just like, you know, have a nice, easy thing to do. But there's got to be more. MK9 like had basically a story mode, the 300 tower, and yet I never get bored playing MK9. Why? Because it fundamentally thought about what the fighting game player wanted and needed, and it gave them everything that they could ever wanted. It's when they started getting into the gimmicks with MK10, with the, oh, join a faction. You can do all that faction stuff, and on paper, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. But then they started going gimmicky with the variation stuff. And then MK11, they removed that, and then they went into the, you know, choose your own adventure type, or choose your own special move type adventure crap. You know, and yeah, sort of, I don't know how, when you literally have the framework for previous MK games that was so brilliant, how you could just not add that and more. Does that make sense? Like, I don't understand how you could just not go, yeah, we'll take that, people love that, let's just add more. Where's the minigame? There's no Mortal Kombat, there's no puzzle combat, there's no chess combat, there's no There's no nothing. There's nothing in there that's fun. You could add in Mortal Kombat, unlock characters. You could make it like a mini Mortal Kombat where, you know, you have mini versions of your characters that you fight. You know, you could have puzzle combat. You could have you know, all sorts of stuff. If they go to the effort to create what they've done in Invasions, take that but rework it into something that is actually fun and you can come back to, and not just come back to, but also play others with it as well. So while this stuff is online content, imagine, if you will, your friend can pick up the controller in person and play with you, or online you can play together, even if it's stuff that isn't like an actual PvP mode. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Very boring. That's all I'll say about it. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Yeah, catch you next time.